Simon Sproule is a Senior Vice President of Communications at Fisker. And I had a chance to visit LA Auto Show just a few weeks ago in November. And I believe Fisker Ocean was actually formally unveiled at LA Auto Show. Simon, I'm glad you're here on my channel. And I would like to ask a few questions about the vehicle, about the company, about yourself here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Michael. And very pleased to be joining you.
Excellent. So Fisker Ocean is a great vehicle. So there are lots of exciting features such as like huge 17-inch screen, California mode, solar roof. What is your favorite feature?
I think probably the rotating screen, actually. I mean, there are many innovative features on the Fisker Ocean. You know, the California mode with the window, particularly the windows at the back. So if you've got animals in the back of the car, they can sort of stick their noses out and breathe fresh air, which I think is kind of cool to have that feature. But actually, of all of them, if you think about how you use an electric car, and if you're on a long trip, or if we all work in a very different way, and a lot of us are doing our Zoom calls in the car, and we're doing things on the move, and our work life habits have changed. And I think to have this screen, to have a very large 17.1-inch screen anyway installed in the car from the base model up, but then in the upper models to have this Hollywood mode, this rotating screen. So when the vehicle's stopped, you're parked up, maybe you're charging, maybe you stop for a bite to eat or something, you can kick back and watch a movie or enjoy something on the screen in landscape mode. So I think that's pretty innovative, and to get that into market and get that into production in the time that we're going to be doing it is also pretty impressive.
And I'm guessing you're going to have the entire ecosystem to support all the features for the screen, right? So all the streaming and maps and everything. Are you going to develop your own software? You're going to it's going to be based on Google Maps, or what's your plan here?
So without giving all our secrets away, we have a UX UI team that are working on the way in which the driver will interact with the car. We'll obviously have two screens, because you have the screen directly in front of you, and then you'll have the large 17.1 screen. And we are designing our own user interface, user experience on the screen, and more to come on that next year with some pretty cool features. We are working, on the screen itself. Sharp is a partner for us, and we are working with some other technology partners. But really, this is being driven by our own people. We have software engineers, we have people coding, and we have designers working on how people will interact with the car and how they will use these screens.
Yeah, excellent. And I think we'll get back to that point, like what is exactly the features the Fisker team is adding. But I was screening a little bit the forums related to the Fisker Ocean release. And, there is one question which is being asked constantly by, different people. And it's actually the price. I mean, I'm very excited to see like the most, let's say, affordable version of this vehicle is what, like 37K, I suppose, before subsidies. And if you're going to lease it, or I think you have a special like brand name for the lease program, it's going to be what, like $379 per month. So which looks like amazing for almost a full size SUV, brand new model, quite a powerful motor, also driving range. I would say it's 250 miles, quite impressive by current standards. So the question is, do you feel confident in achieving this price? And we know that you're going to partner with Magna, so the vehicle will be manufactured in, I guess, Austria. So how difficult it is to be at that price point?
Well, $37,500 for a all electric, advanced, stunningly attractive SUV, I think is a remarkable achievement, and it's what we've committed to our customers, what we've committed to the market. So we are going to deliver that car from that price point. Obviously, the range of the vehicles goes up from there. So there are higher price models with more features, functionality, with a larger battery. We have two batteries on offer. But we're doing a lot of different things with the Ocean. I mean, the way in which we're going to market, the way in which we're working with partners, the way in which we're going to support customers the way in which you'll interact with the vehicle, the type of service that you'll be provided. All of these factors add up to a value proposition and a product proposition that we think is important to bring in at this very competitive price level. And that, as you said, if 37,500 US is before the minimum of the state and federal incentives. So, we're obviously looking at an incredibly well-positioned vehicle in terms of price point in the core of the market. The average price of a new car in America today is about $40,000.
Exactly.
So a nicely equipped Ocean at 40, 45, 50 plus whatever option package you use, or whatever feature set you use, even the upper models at over 68,000. You're still, when you apply the incentives, you've got a great value proposition there with a very impressive vehicle with the latest technology. And how are we managing to do that? Well, we're just challenging every single element of product development, manufacturing, of purchasing, of inbound, outbound logistics, manufacturing, and distribution. We don't have a dealer network, so we don't have to give up a margin. That's a margin that we keep. Now, we are investing in brand experience centers. We're investing in service facilities. I would say sort of more centralized service facilities, because in a lot of markets we'll be using third-party providers such as Bakunin Group in Scandinavia. So we're able to do things in a very different way, which actually, by coincidence, both reduces the cost of development of the vehicle and allowing us to pass that on to the consumer, but also gives the consumer a better experience, get a better product, better technology, latest generation features at a lower price point. So it's a real win-win.
Well, I see that, and definitely there is no doubt. Like at that price point, it's an outstanding value proposition. So I can hardly think of any other vehicle in the same segment with the same type of features, driving range, power, acceleration, etc., etc. So, well, congratulations on that. And talking a little bit about your core partner here. So it's basically Magna and I guess CATL for batteries. I did a little bit of research. So Magna is obviously a very well-known tier one, almost a quasi car maker. So they have their own factories. I know they're manufacturing bike in China as well at a very affordable price with very similar characteristics. Did you also look into that product to see if you can really be at that price point? So what was that convincing? And how does that change if you actually manufacture the vehicle in Europe?
So you mentioned a partner sort of ecosystem. So Magna, CATL, I would add in there Bridgestone, I would add in there Sharp, as we mentioned, and many others that are still to be announced. So we've got a partner ecosystem that's the best in the world. And Magna, as one of the world's leading tier one suppliers, and also a global reputation for outsourced manufacturing, particularly at the Graz facility in Austria. So you add all that up, and I think you've got a great team that's going to bring this vehicle to market, and you've got a very seasoned team, both in terms of the suppliers and then our key partners like Magna. And this is a very global industry. I mean, it's been operating that way actually for a number of years now, but particularly with in the EV space, with the acceleration of technology going into and research going into electric vehicles, the advancements of battery systems, autonomous driving systems developing very rapidly. So we're really working with the best in the business and trying to bring all those together, and we can see what they've done with other manufacturers. We've got the benefit of being a new entrant, having a white sheet of paper, and being able to bring in the latest technology very late in the vehicle development. I mean, we're producing the Ocean, we're developing the Ocean in about just over 24 months. Now, a normal car program for an established OEM is minimum 36 months, probably likely 48 months. So bigger, more established automakers are making technology decisions. So selecting a screen, selecting a battery, selecting a motor and inverter package. They're making those decisions 3, even 4 years before the first car is produced for the customer. Well, we're making those decisions 18 months, 12 months before the vehicle goes into production. So what that means is that we're able to deliver very modern, up-to-date technology into the car. And in many cases, technology at a far superior level than a customer could buy from an established OEM, simply because we're buying parts and we're buying key components from suppliers which represent their latest generation, and we're then putting those into production in very short order. So it's a very exciting time, and it's a very interesting time to see how the industry is changing, and how new entrants like Fisker can be disruptive.
Interesting, and I do agree with you. So being kind of late to the party is actually not really late, because you are accessing the latest technology and you don't have this, collateral and all the heritage from previous platform, previous technology generations. So I think it's clearly an advantage, but I think it's more or less publicly recognized that you're building the Fisker Ocean on the Magna platform. So you are leveraging the Magna's experience, so leveraging their engineering. And I was curious, what actually Fisker brings to the table. What kind of updates, like you mentioned, inverters, motors, battery, are those the elements you are like reassessing? And we talked about UI and UX. Maybe you can shed more light on this one.
Well, look, the starting place on the platform, and I think it's a little simplistic to say, well, we're just using a Magna platform, because in fact, actually what we're creating is unique Fisker IP and a platform that we call for FM29. And that was born out of our engineering and design process called Fisker Flexible Platform Agnostic Design, so FFPAD. We like our acronyms in Fisker. And the source of that platform was the Magna EV platform or skateboard, however you want to characterize it. I think platform today is, I'm not sure whether that's still going to apply as a terminology or a skateboard, but the base for the vehicle. But we're putting so much Fisker IP, unique design elements, making sure it's fitting our needs and our product needs and the needs of our customers, so that actually it's a differentiated platform or skateboard by the time we finished with it. Hence, it doesn't carry any kind of Magna legacy name. It carries a new Fisker name, which is FM29. So that's the foundation for the vehicle. Then you build on top of that with both the leading componentry from tier 1 suppliers from around the world, be that seating systems, be that HVAC systems, be that battery technology from CATL, and the secret sauce for Fisker is design, but it was also engineering integration. So we're not just taking off-the-shelf bits for everybody and putting them together. There is a very sizable engineering team in Fisker, located predominantly between San Francisco, Manhattan Beach, and then across in Austria. And that engineering team is creating the Ocean, and will create the Project Pear and the vehicles that will follow. So I don't want to give you the impression that we've just gone down to an auto show and bought a bag of bits and putting them together. There is a lot of deep Fisker engineering and IP that's being created as a part of the process in the Ocean.
Well, talking about features and IP, so given my background, especially in charging and bidirectional charging, I was very excited to see this feature, which is called Powerhouse on Fisker Ocean. And I think at some point of time, you were talking about 250 kilowatt charging peak power and also bidirectional energy flow. So who is actually developing this? Is it part of the legacy, or let's say the carryover platform from Magna? Are those your developments? And can you give us a little bit more details, like what is the power today to charge and to discharge? Is it AC or DC? and what kind of use cases you're imagining for this technology?
So I'm going to defer the technology questions, both because I'm not an engineer and B, we haven't announced those details yet. But what I can tell you is that the fundamental electrical architecture of the company, of the Ocean, sorry, has been set up obviously to enable vehicle to grid, vehicle to home, vehicle to other sources. You know, we've got a solar roof that we are creating, which is probably going to be one of the first, if not the first in the industry, which will be able to charge not the secondary battery, but the primary battery. So that's why we are able to say that in sunny climes, such as Southern California or Middle East and other sunny Mediterranean countries, you'll be able to get several hundred, in fact, over almost 2,000 miles of range, extra range potential. You know, that's parking the car constantly out in the sunshine. But certainly, you're talking here about useful range that can be added from the solar roof directly into the primary battery, and that's our technology. That's our secret sauce that's making that happen, and that's why things like this, the solar roof, is so important as a product feature and a differentiator for us. So overall, you know, more to come on details of the program, and particularly the vehicle to grid, vehicle to home architecture that we're working on. But yes, we have a lot of very clever people working in the company now, a lot of very motivated and passionate people working in the company now, and creating a product that I think is going to really surprise and delight our customers.
Yeah, I clearly see that. And to be honest, you're now mentioning vehicle to grid and all those features. You're clearly thinking about the future. I think, you know, future is bi-directional. I'm really looking forward to see more bi-directional vehicles in the market. So, and given like the number of problems we have with utilities, electric grids all over the world, I think this is the only way to go. So good choices, nothing to say here. Shifting gears a little bit. What is your go-to-market strategy? Obviously, you mentioned you're gonna be saving some, markups and on the cost side by going directly to your customers. But what is exactly the plan here?
Yeah, great question. So we will base. We're a digital-first company, so we want to give customers the option that if they want to do the entire experience online, they can do. Order their car on the app, configure their car, have the whole transaction done digitally. So the first interaction that they have with us physically is actually when the car is being delivered. So there's that option. Well, we think most of our customers are going to want to do is to see, sit in, touch, smell, drive the product. And that's going to be delivered through predominantly a network of experience centers that are going to be in the key metro areas around the world. So next year in 2022, we will open our first brand experience center in Los Angeles. We'll open subsequent centers in New York, in Miami, in London, and in Copenhagen and in Munich. So by this time next year, so end of 2022, by the time the Ocean starts production, we'll have half a dozen or more brand experience centers, and several more in the process of being delivered. Because if you think about the launch markets, I mentioned France, for example, so naturally we're going to need to have brand experience centers in the key cities in France, no doubt starting in Paris. So we'll deliver one part of the physical experience through those brand experience centers, and that'll enable you to talk to product experts, to see the vehicle, to book a test drive, and to learn more about the company and about what we're doing. The other part of that is going to be marketing through events, through advertising, through digital, through social media, content creation. So if we take events, for example, we chose the Los Angeles Auto Show deliberately as the place where we wanted to launch the production version, the production intent version of the Fisker Ocean. So the concept was launched at the Consumer Electronics Show 2020 in Las Vegas. We had the opportunity to launch at the ALA show, and auto shows are undergoing somewhat of a transformation. Not all automakers are going to auto shows, but actually I think LA was a tremendous success for us. We had a significant share of voice. I think we played a very dominant role in the show, and it was a great platform for us to showcase the vehicle. So our go-to-market plan is multi-level, multi-layered, and is optimized for what we believe our customers are going to want now and in the future, be that digital only, digital first experience, or a combination of digital and physical experiences.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm personally looking forward to booking a test drive. So hopefully it's going to be in LA. And I also hope that you're going to put San Francisco on your wait list. So this is also where you have a huge market here in California. How many reservations of Fisker Oceans do you have right now? And did the number grow like drastically after you unveiled the vehicle?
Yeah, we're over 21,000, I think over 22,000 reservations as we stand today, with which predominantly are private customers. We have some significant fleet orders. For example, in the UK, a partnership with Onto for 700 vehicles. In France, a partnership with Credit Agricole. In Denmark, a partnership with a mobility EV mobility company. So we've got a mixture of what you might call fleet and private customers. And yes, LA show was a great boost to us. You know, we've been seeing spikes in interest and reservations really, obviously, well, since the CES show in Las Vegas, when the company went public and listed in the stock exchange and became perhaps more newsworthy. We saw more interest there, and we've seen interest whenever we announce significant feature sets on the car. So it's you know, you can see the graph, you know, going up at those key moments. But LA show was really important to us, and we're going to be at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas just a few weeks from now. So we are committed to the show circuit. And you know, and you mentioned San Francisco. I should address your question. Yes, I mean, San Francisco is a major opportunity, is a very important market for all the EV players, in fact, for all automakers. So we haven't announced when or where our store will be, but I think you can expect that we will be present in that market.
And how about servicing? So what's your servicing strategy? Are you going to build like service centers like East Coast, West Coast, Europe? How many service centers are in the pipeline right now?
So servicing is going to be through several different routes. Predominantly, we're going for, which is very consistent with our asset-light approach, we're going for a third-party service provider solution. We've announced some of those partners already. In the UK, Rebus Fleet Solutions. In Scandinavia, Mekonomen Group. We've got some more partners that we'll be announcing over the course of the next few weeks. So we're going to be working with established service providers to provide both a physical location for customers to bring their vehicle should they need it, or driveway service. And you know, a lot of people ask us, well, what about scheduled maintenance? Well, we don't really have a scheduled maintenance on an electric car because there isn't, you know, oil to change, there aren't filters to change, there aren't things to change on a regular basis. And because, of course, the cars are also connected through over-the-air updates and you know, our telematics systems, that we will know, and we have we'll obviously be monitoring vehicles in terms of any reliability or quality issues or any component failures or anything that looks mysterious. We'll be able to be spotting that probably before the customer even is aware of it. And I think that's the beauty of electric vehicles and connected electric vehicles, is that the service experience should be very frictionless, and it's there when you need it and there when you want it, and you don't have to bring in the car on a routine basis, and you may never see us. You know, you may have the car for 3 or 5 years, and apart from maybe a new set of tires or have a look at the brakes, then it may be something that we have very little interaction with you. In terms of service centers, we will have, as I said, we'll be delivering the experience through predominantly third-party providers, but we will have some service hubs in the larger cities and training centers and parts facilities and so forth. So the network will be built out to support the servicing of the vehicles.
Nevertheless, any new entrant in the market, even if it's an electric vehicle, and I do agree with you, not so many components which you need to be taken care of, and no oil, and just like much easier and more durable, vehicle in general. But many new entrants still kind of face those like teething issues, right? So some things not working, doors are not closing, maybe some panels are not aligned. What gives you confidence that your product will be really good off the shelf from day one?
Well, I mean, for a start, we have a superb team of engineers in-house working on the Ocean. The design is as you've seen at the auto shows is stunning, and has been optimized for both visual attraction. So it's a very good looking car with a great stance and proportion, but also optimized for manufacturing. And you're going to see that when we start to see the prototype vehicles and then obviously the production vehicles coming out. Second is we're building the car with one of the highest quality partners for outsourced manufacturing in the world. I mean, Magna Steyr, specifically in Graz in Austria, that facility where we will build the Ocean, today builds the G-Wagon for Mercedes, builds the BMW Z4, builds Toyota Supra, builds the Jaguar I-Pace, has in the past built the Aston Martin Rapide. So Magna is a facility that is world-class in terms of its quality. And having a facility like Magna that we can partner with and use for the Ocean, as opposed to building our own greenfield site or taking another facility and radically adapting it for our own use, puts us in a position to be able to deliver the Ocean much faster than if we were building our own factory in the desert. And second, we're doing that with a company and with a workforce and with production facilities and a paint shop, trim and final lines, inbound, outbound logistics, test facilities, all the things that go into making a high quality product. Magna and their Graz facility are going to be able to deliver those for us. So we feel very confident that the Ocean will be an exceptionally high quality product from the get-go.
Excellent. Well, and maybe we're really getting close to the end of the interview, but a few maybe comments about the future. What are the most important milestones for you in 2022? What kind of things you're planning to achieve? Maybe a little bit of content on Foxconn and Lordstown. So those are things are also progressing as far as I can see from the media. Yes,
2022 is set to be a pivotal year for the company. The probably the most important milestone is November 17th, 2022, which is the start of production for the Ocean at Graz. If we sort of track back from that point in time, you've got several phases of prototype builds, which are very important as the program nears that key start of production date. So building those prototype vehicles for crash test, for durability testing, validation, and so forth. So going through 2022, you'll see increasing numbers of prototypes from the Graz facility going out on test and validation and crash testing and so forth. So through the year, the program will obviously be focused on the SOP in November 17th of 2022. Now, the other part of that is building the brand. So that's advertising, marketing, communications, events, shows, and the brand experience centers. So opening the first of those brand experience centers in Los Angeles, and then Munich, and then London, and then Copenhagen and New York and Miami. So all these activities. So 2022 is going to be a very intense year. I think Henrik and Geeta are going to be opening a lot of things next year because we're going to have so many facilities, so many parts of the company. They're going to be coming alive in support of the launch of the car. And then probably the most important thing that will happen after the start of production is that we will deliver the first car to the first customer. And in the end, that's what this is all about, is delivering a high quality, state-of-the-art product to a customer and then being delighted with that product and the experience.
Yeah, and I think you planned on delivering first vehicles to your customers already in November 2022. I hope the chip shortage won't impact you. And it's an excellent plan, a lot of work ahead of you. And Simon, once again, thank you for being on my channel, answering sharply all those questions and giving us the real content. And this is really exciting. So wish you all the best once again. And I'm looking forward to actually driving your first prototypes or test drive vehicles. I think in LA will be the nearest opportunity, correct?
I guess so. It depends where you are in the world, and I'm looking forward to driving them as well. So yeah, 2022 is going to be an exciting year for us.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you for your time.